Welcome to Rehatched Designs by Tina Williams, where I make junk journals, all different styles, several different ways, for many different upcycled and new things. Sit back and enjoy the video. And if you like it, please give me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll know when I upload future videos. Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatched Designs. Hope everybody's doing well today. I am here for a little craft with me video, maybe a tutorial for some people that don't know how to do this. I am going to be making some boho beads, and I'll be making them different ways. I've zoomed in a little bit closer here, and don't mind the blue ink. I've been changing the ink out on my printers, and of course I had to get some on my hands. It's not going to come off, but I thought it would be a fun little craft with me, and I haven't done a craft with me for a really long time, and that way we could just do like a little craft and chat. And I will be showing you how to make some of these in different ways. I make them a little different than I used to. I have an old video out there that shows how to do it, but it's pretty close to the same way that I did before. You can make different kinds. I'll show you a few different ways, but I am trying to finish up some journals, and I need to make a few of these, and I really love doing them because they're just, I don't know, I've always loved doing jewelry anyway, but they're kind of relaxing and fun, and they're not that hard to do. So let me show you a few things you're going to need. I have just a very basic jewelry things here. This is just a little thing that rolls your jewelry. Usually you get these in a kit. You'll get like 2 pliers, maybe a cutter. This cuts and pliers. I like that, and I like this one that bends like that. And then this one, very inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them anywhere. You don't have to have that, but it makes things a lot easier. I have this is just a paper straw. It doesn't have to be gold. It can be any color you want. I bought some gold ones because when I was doing these, I kind of thought if anything shows, and it'll be gold, but you really cover it all up, so it doesn't really matter. You kind of need something like, I have some sari silk, and I have some ribbon here, and I have other different things that we'll use. I'll show you that we can cover this up to make our bead. And that's what I'm saying, we'll make different styles. I have a stash of old jewelry that I love to take apart to use for pieces on this. Old earrings, whatever. And I have some that's already cut up, but I'm not going to hesitate to go in here and find pieces that I might want to use. I have tons. So I have used this before. This is like a kind of a gold string. You can get that at any craft store. You can get it in silver, gold, whatever. I like to use that to wrap my beads in. There's also this, which I like even more. This was sold at Christmas time. I don't know if you can get it now. I bought this at the Dollar Tree, but I know that they have similar kinds at craft stores. But if not, you can always get this kind, or you can just get maybe some embroidery thread that you want to use, but a really thin kind of metallic-y wire I like to put on there. And it's not a necessity, you don't have to. Like I said, any kind of material that you want to use to wrap it. I have 2 different gauge wires that I like to use. I like to use a 20 gauge and a 24. If I can find these, this is a 24, it's thinner. 20 gauge is thicker. And so I like to use the 20 and the 24 on this, one to wrap the bead and one to actually make the bead itself. So, and also different kind of spacer beads if you have them. Here's some here. I'm not going to use a lot of these because I just kind of want to show people that you can do it very easily with just whatever you have. Let me see what I have in here. I have some silver ones. I think I have some gold ones too somewhere. Yeah, a whole bunch of gold ones here. These are just spacer beads. Any kind of charm or something that you may want to put on the end. If you want to go and look through all your charms, maybe you have some things that you could use. I have quite a bit. Old jewelry works great. Little pieces of things that made, even beads, just little beads. I love to use earrings. Earrings work really well. So anything like that that you might want to use. I mix my metals all the time. I don't necessarily worry about what color it is. So if you, I mean, to me that it just doesn't matter. It usually turns out looking pretty good. So let's see. I have all kinds of stuff. I have old keys. You can put keys on there. There's just a lot of different things, guys. Lots and lots and lots. Here's a heart. These are just things I've taken off of jewelry. So you may want to look through old jewelry and take it apart and then see what you have to work with. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And it's pretty easy. I personally I have a little box where it's the kind of things I use, I keep in there, and then I have it ready and I can kind of take it with me. It's kind of one of those crafts that you really can take with you and definitely use, you know, just a little something to carry all the stuff in. And I just can make one after another because it's just really a lot of fun and it's pretty hard to mess them up. So anyway, first thing I do is I take my paper straw and I cut it to about, I would say, right around 2 inches. You definitely can go bigger if you want to, but 2 to 3 inches, depending upon how long you want your bead. And then you're going to take your 20 gauge wire, the thicker wire, and I like to go about 7 inches with that. And this is just approximate, guys. It doesn't really matter if it's exactly that. You just want to have enough of a piece to work with. Okay? And that's what you're going to use to start with. What I like to do first is I like to cover my piece of straw with whatever material I'm going to use. And I have like a whole bag full of stuff that I cut up. These are just like scraps from different things that I've had, and you can use whatever. Let me see what I have in here. I will see if we can pull something out. I always keep all of my old scraps, just because they work great on this. So here's this piece of sari silk that's been frayed. It's probably too big for what we need. We probably need about half of that. But I'm not going to cut it till I'm done doing this. And I like to use hot glue. Although my hot glue is really hot. I probably should lower the temperature. But I'm going to show you how I do it with hot glue. I just put a little bit of glue on the end right there. Not a lot. And you can see my glue is really hot. So I'm going to hope I don't burn myself. And I have my little tool from Dollar Tree that I use, and you can also use little finger things. And all I'm going to do is I am going to wrap this with whatever material that I'm using and go all the way down, just kind of like this. And if you wanted to make it puffier in the middle, then you go back in and you're going to just kind of wrap it more in the middle, okay? That's all you're going to do. If you want your bead to look a little bit puffier in the middle, and usually I do. So all I did is put more toward the middle, and I'm going to stop it in the middle. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of glue, maybe a little bit more than that, and you can use any kind of glue. Fabric tack, I use that a lot. Hot glue works because it works immediately, so it kind of grabs immediately. So I'm going to use that and just kind of push it over. It doesn't matter if it's perfect because we're going to go back over this in a minute, and you can kind of cut that if it's too much. But I like to leave all the little hairs and stuff out like that, so that's kind of how it looks. It doesn't look really special at this point. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take my piece of 20 gauge wire, my wide, my thicker wire, and I'm going to put it through this straw. So that is why we needed a straw, because we need a place to put our other beads, okay? So I'm going to pick out some beads to put on here, and probably, let's see, I don't think I'll use those. I might use some of these. I have these beads up here that I can use, and it can, guys, any beads that you have on hand, you do not have to do anything really special. Let's see if that would look good with that. Yeah, it probably would. So let's just take a couple of those, or maybe some of these. Maybe that would look better. So anyway, any bead, new beads, like I said, you could definitely take jewelry apart and do this. It works really well for that. I think I want to find some beads in my little stash here. So anyway, what I do at this point is you're going to work backwards. So you want your bead that's going to go closest to the top here, and that's usually this bigger bead. So I usually put that there. So that, let me see if I can get that to show up. There we go, that's there. Oh, maybe I really need to go that way. All right, let's see. So that's there. So I put that bead on. Then I'm going to put one of my spacer beads on. So I'm going to put that. And this is just for looks. It doesn't really serve a purpose. Okay, I'm going to get that on there. This is really easy to do, guys. I just have trouble seeing sometimes. And then this goes, another spacer bead's going to go on that. And this is just for looks, guys. You don't have to have spacer beads. Okay, and then I'm going to put that there. And now I actually think I want a bead that's a little bit smaller before I put the little tiny bead on there. So let me look and see in my pile. And if I don't have one in here, then I will probably go look for one. What other color can I put in there? Do I have anything purple? I have kind of a purplish blue. I could put that in there. That looks pretty good. Let me see if I can find two of those. And this is coming off a necklace that I have, so I'm going to put that on there. And on these, I'm not going to put a spacer. You could, if you wanted to, definitely. But I'm just going to put that like that. So can you see where we've done that? So we've done that one, that one, that one. This is going to be a really long one. And then I'm going to put this little teeny tiny bead on top. I actually wish that was a little bit more pink. Let me see if I can find one a little bit more pink. And it's really, really hard to see this. I don't know if I can find one. Oh, here's some. It really kind of looks clearer. So I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but we shall see. We will try. It might look pink once we put it on there. I like to put a little tiny bead on the end for no real reason other than I don't know, I just do. All right, so that is the order in which I put the beads. So let me put that on there. So can you see that? So we put that, a spacer, this maroon one, another gold one, another gold spacer, the bluish one, and then the kind of light pink, crystal pink. So when we get to the end, and what I usually do is I just bend this over so it doesn't fall off. When we go here, what I do is I go to the end, and I take one of each of the beads that I'm going to have to duplicate on the other side, and I put those aside. You take this little tool like this, and I just take it and the upper part of it, I round it like that and make an L. Okay, so I've made an L. And then you can either twist it with your hands, which doesn't always work all that well, or you can twist it with, this is why this one works really well. You're going to hold it, and then you're just going to twist the other wire around it to kind of close it. That usually works better. And you're going to end up with extra wire. I usually crimp this to make sure it's nice and tight. And you can wind it around, you know, several times if you want. I usually just do it a couple times. So it's going to go around like that. And then I just cut this as close as I can to this edge. And see, these things have cutters in them right there. You're just going to go as close as you can to the other wire, and be careful when you put those on the ground so you have a place to put them. So if you have little dogs or something, they don't get that in their paws. And then what I do is I take this part right here that's sticking out, that little part that's sticky, and I smush down on it so it will not stick anybody later. Okay, then I put all my beads down. So all of these beads are going to be like that now. Okay, and you can straighten this wire out when you're done, but that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a little loop there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add up our other beads, and we're going to put them on just like we did on this side. So we'll put this bead, and then we're going to put a spacer bead. And like I said, this is going to be a long one, but I just want to show you all the options that you have. And, you know, use your scrap pieces of material, use your scrap pieces of or old jewelry. Some of this is old jewelry, some is stuff I bought, but I've had in my stash for a really long time. So I will link what I can find, but honestly, there's so much stuff out there for pretty nominal cost. And then I'm putting my last bead on there. This is a little crooked on the end. That's why it's kind of hard to put in there. I hope you guys can see. And I can barely see, so even though I have my super duper magnifying glasses on. That's why I don't do a lot of jewelry anymore. I can barely see. So basically, I have just repeated what I did on the other side. Okay, so this is going to be a really long boho bead, but you see it's picking up the colors that are all in this thing here. So now what I want to do is I want to have this bead on the end, you know, I want it tight. I want all these tight. So I am going to try and make a loop here, but I want it to make all of this tight, okay? So what I'm going to do is I have a lot of extra here. Usually you do. I'd rather have extra than not enough. I'll cut some of it off. I'll end up cutting more off later. So I am going to go ahead and make my loop and try and tighten this, okay, to where it is right at the top. I'm going to show you. Look, guys. See this? Hope you can see that. Move back. So this is right at the top. I just did my L right at the top, and all I'm going to do is you can leave that in there if you want to. You can use pliers, whatever you want to do, and you're just going to wrap that around, okay, just like we did on the other side. But you want to try and keep it as tight as you can, because you're trying to, and this wire, honestly guys, is so flexible. You can do it with your fingers if you want to. It does wrap tighter if you use your pliers like I'm doing right here, okay, and that will wrap it around and give you another loop, okay. So here's our other loop on the other side, and it's made it nice and tight because we did the L at the very, very top of the last bead, okay. And this will bend, so you just kind of have to stretch it out and straighten it, but that's what's going to happen. And what you do is you're going to cut that as like we did the other one, as tight as you can, and then smush it down, okay. And technically that is your boho bead. My style, there's all different ways you can make it, okay, but there's more that we can do to this, okay. So I like to put beads on top of this, okay, and that is where the thinner 24 gauge wire comes in. So I'm going to take a piece of this, and probably about 8 inches, and that's probably very liberal. I probably don't need that much. So I am going to take some seed beads, and there's different sizes that you can use, any size you would like to use. I am going to go ahead and use the larger ones so that you can actually see what I'm doing. And I am going to just basically, first off, I'm going to go ahead and bend this down so that anything that I put on here is not going to fall off. And I'm going to just take a bunch of beads and put them on here. And we're just going to be stringing them on here. So I'm going to just pour some out. And the reason I have this here instead of just my mat is that it keeps things from rolling, I learned. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and string. You know, it just depends on how many beads you want on there. I'm going to say I'm going to put about 20 beads on there. But, you know, that's not a magical number or anything like that. Oops, that did not work. You want to cross that over. You want to do it so where they're not going to fall off. Okay, so just be putting your beads on there until you get enough that you think you'll have enough for this. And you'll see what we're going to do. That way you know kind of what we're doing. So anyway, guys, I will link my other channel, and I renamed it Rehatch Designs instead of Something Special Designs because of all of the legalities of having to go get an SBA, another license, filing taxes, all kinds of stuff. If I had both channels the same name, it worked the same for me. It worked better for me. And I could just, you know, do that. And I am going to just basically link my Facebook to where I just have one. I don't know how well that'll work, but I'm going to try it. And I am going to be having a giveaway on my Facebook. And I was going to do it just for the first 100 people that sign up, but I decided that that wasn't really fair. So what I'm going to do is anybody that is on that account, if you just post something, you will be entered in the giveaway. Anything about what you're doing, what crafts you're doing, what journals you're doing, anything. Hi, just what vacation you're on, I don't really care, as long as it's, you know, not lewd or crude or ugly or anything like that. Just follow the rules. And anyway, you will be entered if you just post something And as soon as I hit 100, whether it be new subscribers or post and new subscribers, you know, combined, I am going to have a giveaway. And it is going to be, I'll show you, it's a new one of these. This is mine, but it is the Iron Orchard Designs decor stamp back plates. I have a brand new one that I'm going to give away. And all you have to do is post something, or if you're not already on my Facebook group, if you join, that's all you have to do. That will get you entered. So anyway, that is it. And I will, as soon as I hit 100, between posts and people that subscribe to my Facebook group, I will go ahead and announce that giveaway. And I'll do it on this channel and my other channel. Okay, so I don't even know how many beads are here, guys, but you can see that. So what I'm going to be doing now is I am going to take this lighter weight wire, which is the 24 gauge, and I am going to, at the very bottom of, this is right where the straw starts, right here. Okay, this is our last bead. I am going to take this wire and I'm going to wrap it around a few times. And that's all. That also tightens this whole thing up too, by the way. And then I'm going to cut that close again, and then I will squish it so it doesn't, you know, hurt anybody. And then I'm going to take my beads and I am going to take them and I'm just going to go around with my beads, and you can move them around a little bit. I'm just taking my wire and trying to space my beads around as I go around my, I'm going around my straw with the beads. Okay. Oh wait, I forgot something. Back up. Let's leave that here for a minute. We could have done this other part first before we put the beads on, but we can still do it. So remember I told you I had this sparkly little wire, or I don't even know what you would really call this, ribbon. I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to wrap it around here before we do these beads. So I'm just going to take the tiniest bead of glue, guys. I don't want a big blob of glue. Just the tiny, 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 tiny bit. There we go. Just enough to get me started to go all the way around. And I'm going to take this and I am going to just put it down. And it looks like it's a little bit too wide, but that's okay because it'll compress. And I'm going to just go around with this and I'm going to pull it really tight, as tight as I can get it. Get that little piece tucked back in there. And go all the way around to the other edge. And then I'm going to cut it to when it meets the other side. Probably put just a tiny bit of glue then. Tiny bit, guys. You don't want a lot of glue showing. And we're going to do that. So I'm going to put that down like that. There we go. Got it pretty tight. And I'm going to cut off the excess. So that's all it's done, is it's wrapped itself around that bead. You do not have to do that. Again, you can just take string and do that, or you can skip that step altogether. I just do it because it kind of makes it a little fancy and it holds all those pieces in, but I think it looks good either way. So that I'm just showing you this as an additive, so you see all the different things, all little tricks you can do. So now we're going to take our wired beads that we had, and we are going to go all the way around. And I'm trying to disperse these beads as I go around with the wire, but you can do that a little bit more after you go around with it. And I'm trying to pull tight with this. I mean, not super tight, but tighter. You don't want it loose around there. And you're going all the way around. And you know, you're just trying to be aware of how many beads you have, how much wire you have left, and just kind of move it around a little bit. And just keep going until you get to the very end. And I'm going to go around a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to take a few of these beads off because I don't need that as many as I have. And then I'm going to take my leftover wire that I have, which I don't have a lot. I really should have more on there, but it's enough. I'm going to take this leftover piece of wire and I am going to wrap it around the top of my straw where this pink bead is. I'm just using my pliers to do that, and I'm going to wrap it around. I'll probably go around a couple times, and after I do that, I am going to cut off any extra that I have, which I really don't have a lot extra, so I may just turn it in there. And then you want to squish it down so it doesn't stick anybody, right? And that also tightens up your entire bead, by the way. So there you go. That is a bead, the long part of the bead, all right? And you see how we've got the little wire in there. We've got the sari silk. We've got all the other beads. Now we have a loop here and a loop here, and that is for two different reasons. Let's just say, I don't want to make this too long, but let's see, I don't want to put that on there. I don't think red looks good there. Just get these. And they come in all different colors, and I like the bigger ones, but you can certainly use any color you want. And let's see, maybe I'll get the brass one. Well, I can't seem to find one, but here we go. There we go. All right. Well, I still didn't find what I wanted, but that's okay. So all I'm going to do is take one plier. There's an opening in there. Okay. And I'm going to open it. You hold it with one and you bend it with the other. And I'm just going to loop this on to the bottom of the little loop that we made. The bottom or the top, it doesn't really matter, guys. They're both the same. And then you hold it with one and then you put it back together. Don't ever pull them apart. You know, you always want to go this way, not that way. And so then there is our boho bead. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now for the top, it depends on how you want to put this on your journal. There's a lot of different things you can do. I like to just put a little pin on there and just kind of pin it to the fabric. But if you want to like clip it on or something, you could certainly do that too. But that is basically it. That is how I make my basic boho bead, right? And you know, you just vary it to whatever style you want. It doesn't really matter, you know, if you get it all fancy or whatever, because you're just gonna do whatever you want to do. I mean, I have different kinds. Now I'm going to kind of show you one without the material, and this is just with beads, and it's just a long string of beads. This is not complicated, but a lot of people may want to do it that way just because that may be a little bit more similar to what they want. I'm trying to find. So what I'm going to do is we are going to start with our middle bead. This is the bigger one. And so just like when we did it with the material, this time we're not using a straw. And then I usually like to go to the next size, but I'm going to put a spacer on there. And again, this is just for looks. This is going to go this way like that. Then this kind of cool green bead right here. All right, then I'm going to put another green bead. And then I think I'm going to put, oh, we're missing a bead. I know I got one. Let me get, or maybe I didn't. I'm looking at it right here. Okay, so that has to go. Okay, so then this, I don't know, I guess you would call it a copper looking bead. It's going to go on there. I wonder if I want to put some spacers in there. I don't know. Let me see. Spacers just kind of jazz it up a little bit. They're definitely, I don't usually like to put them back to back. So I think I'm going to put that on there. And then I'm going to put this on there. This is a spacer. I'm going to put that on there with this green bead. Right? And then I'm going to put another little spacer on top. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. Got kind of a coppery, a green one, a coppery one, and a green one. And then I'm going to put a small green one on the very end. And I'm probably going to just put one of these little kind of coppery looking seed beads on the very, very end, like that. Okay, so that's what I've done. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to, here I'm going to bend that on the end so it doesn't all fall off. I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. I'm just going to do the exact same thing going the other way. And these little spacers too, if you look at old jewelry, a lot of old jewelry will have the spacers on there. So make sure you can pull those off. And I've got a box of stuff I've pulled off, so I don't, necessarily always just use new stuff. I'm doing it now for convenience, just so that I can go faster and show you what I'm doing. But a lot of times I just pull apart old jewelry. So we're going to do that. Where's my little hole in there? There we go. Okay, and I've got to get another little spacer in there. Is that the same size? I think it is. All right. So we've got that, and then our last one is this, or next to the last is this green bead. And then I'm going to put this little other bead on there. So now if you look, we have exactly the same on both sides. And that's our boho bead. And we have not used any material or anything. Okay. So now all we're going to do is we're going to make those same loops that we did before. I'm going to keep this curled for now. We're going to do it on this side first. And on the first side you do it, it doesn't really have to be tight because you can always make the other part tight. So we're going to bend it and make an L like that. So we have our L. And you can keep this in there as your other pliers, which I think works the best. And just hold it. And then get your other pliers. And you're just going to tighten that up. And you do that simply by twisting this around. You can do it with your fingers. You can do it with the wire. However it works best for you. A lot of times, if you just hold it with the pliers like this, and then just twist it around, it's a lot easier. And I only usually go around a couple times because I don't want a bunch of wire sitting on top. But you can go around more if you want to do more. Okay, so I've gone around a couple times. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this as close as I can. Oh, that's not very close. Let me do it again. And then I'm going to smush that down. twist it around. You want to get that as tight as you can so it doesn't scratch anybody. And you can put a bead over it if you want to, if you have a bigger bead. I don't usually worry about it. I don't care if it sticks out a little bit like that, but some people don't want that, so that's up to you. You can do it however you want. I'm trying to show people the easiest way to do this, so okay. So now what I'm going to do, I have this little, I guess, I don't know, this little medallion here, and I want to actually include this in the bottom, but I am going to go ahead and make another loop like we did with our little loopy tool. And we're going to go ahead and go. Now, when you do this one, you want to kind of get it a little bit closer. You want to kind of see how close I am. And if you do, you can do it with your hands, and then go ahead and then tighten it if you want to. And usually it works better if you're holding it with one and twisting it with the other. Oh, wrong one. You can do it with that one. But to me, it works better when you're going like this, like I'm doing right now. It gets a little bit tighter, and you want to get that as tight as you can. So you may have to go around more than a couple times, but this is pretty tight if you notice. Okay? See how tight that is? And that's because we made our loop right at the top of this, and then we're going to cut this again. And don't worry about this being straight till you're done. It will, you know, eventually. It's a very pliable wire, which is a good thing, but at the same time it will look very crooked while you're doing it. So yeah, you want to really make sure you get those little pieces of this stuff up. I have like a little container that I'm putting them in, and then I will go in here. That's part of the reason why I use something that it won't fly off, because I have pets and I don't want this to get in their feet. So then I'm going to go ahead, and my little thing bent, but that's okay. Make it go straight up. There we go. All right. So we have this as our part that we can attach to either the top or the bottom. They both have a loop, so that allows you to add your pin to the top, or this is just, you can add your bulb pin to this part, or you can add it to this part. I like to just have a bulb pin on there so I can attach it like that. Okay, and then on the very end, we're just going to take one of our spacers again, and I am going to just open that up. And remember, you don't go pull that way, you go opposite like that, and you put that in. And I'm going to just put this little, whatever this is, this little charm on there. I was going to put that other green bead, but I think we have too much green. And that's it. So here is my version of another boho bead. Not using any material or any seed beads or any other wire. Super easy. These look really pretty on all sorts of journals. You can do one with pearls. You can do anything you want. So you definitely don't have to make it just for you know, boho gypsy journals, but you could see you could make that for Christmas. You could do anything. Let me do this here. One of the ways that I like to do this is you can take, like, see this beautiful material here? I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. You can use something like this to go around your beads. I'm going to just take a little piece, just a small piece. Okay. Let's just do that. Maybe we'll do it real quick. Do we have time? Yeah, we have time to do one more, but I'm going to do it quickly, and I'm not going to stop as much and chit-chat about what I'm doing. You guys can just watch. But I like to do stuff like this. Okay. Oops. Come on. Try not to burn myself, because this stuff is really, you know, super meshy. if that's a word. So I'm just going to roll that on there. And I'm actually, going over it more than once because I want some cushion in there. And you can take just any kind of ribbon or something that you have, and that helps embellish your, well, I just lost my glue stick. It helps embellish your bead before you even get started. So that already came off. Let me do that here. And I don't want to put too much glue again. Let me go ahead and use this because I don't want to burn myself. All right. So I'm going to put a couple more dots of glue right here. And you really cannot see this when you're done. So again, you can use any glue you want. If you don't want to use hot glue, you can use fabric tack or whatever. I like the hot glue because it grabs pretty quickly. So that can be the core of your bead. And at that point, you don't have to put this other stuff on there because it's already kind of embellished. So then let's say you have, let me see what I have in here. I have all kinds of stuff. Let us see. So here I have some kind of sparkly spacer beads. I don't know, that's kind of a copper color. I don't really like that. I could put, let's see how this silver looks. And I'll put that on there like that. I like that better. Okay. And so then probably I need to put a few, what other color can I put on there that would look good? I think I'd like to put some pearl ones on there. I think that would be pretty. Let's see what we have. That might be too big. We can try it though. This is just a bracelet, and I can take a couple of these, see how they look. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. As I said, you just decide as you go what you want to do. And I have some other blue ones over here I can put in there. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Oop, they're going all over the place. I like that small one too, but I don't know if I'm going to use that. Okay, so let's try that. Oh, that one's a little bit bigger, so I got to find another one that same size. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, so I think I'd rather have one of these smaller ones over here. It's a little bit different color. And I might want to put some spacers on this just to kind of make it coordinate a little bit. You just kind of go and play with it and get it to where you want it. I don't ever really have a plan. I just start picking stuff up and doing it. And this again is going to be another really long one. I don't know. I just love adding beads to them, I think, is what my thing is. So I think I'm going to just make that the last bead. And I will probably put one of these on the end. I'm going to go ahead and go like that just so that they don't all fall off. So we've got to do a spacer bead, and then this bead, and then another bead, oh, those are not the same. That's okay. I think this one needs to be a little bit bigger though. Your spacer beads come in different sizes. So depending upon the size of your, let's see, that's still not right. Well, let me see if I can find one the right size. Here we go. I think that's better. Then put that on. So this is really, you know, to taste how you like it. But this one, you don't necessarily have to put the beads on top, but I am going to show you what I do with this. And you can do whatever you want. Okay, so this is a really long one, okay? Again, I tend to make them really long because I have them almost like a dangle on my a journal. So now I'm going to want to tighten that up. So again, I'm going to take this and go as, you know, close as I can. And I haven't done the other one yet, so it's not going to really matter. And you want to make an L. You can do that with your pliers, with your fingers, however you want to do it at the top. So, and then I tend to use my pliers rather than the little round thing, but a lot of people just take it and use that are really adept at this. But and then I will take it and just kind of wrap it around. As I said, usually at least a couple times. And then cut it really, really tight. And there's little nippers too that you can use that go in really close. But this works well. I couldn't find mine. I think I was using them to cut flowers. I don't know where I put them. Life's been crazy, guys, let me tell you. So now you've got your little top right there, but now the important thing is you want this nice and tight here. So when we do this one, so here's this, we're going to try and straighten it out and get it as close as we can. We take our little round thing, and look how close I am. See how close I am right there? So I'm going to go ahead and make my loop just above that, okay? Leaving the tiniest little gap, just enough to wind it around, okay? And make my L, right? So it's right at the top. And then you're going to take your pliers. You can hold it with just where it is now and go around. And that's what a lot of people do. They just kind of twist it around until it's nice and tight. And you can feel it get tight. And usually that's what determines on me how many times I go around on the second one, is if I've made it tight or not. Because the more times you go around, the tighter it's going to get. I'd like to go one more time. So I'm going to hold that, and I'm going to try and go around one more time. Make it a little bit tighter, okay? And that's all I'm doing, is I'm going around. And now I'm going to just cut the leftover because it's nice and tight, okay? Oop, oop, oop. There we go. Smush it down so it doesn't hurt anybody. And I go back into and make my little circle round again, because when you're messing with it, it gets misshapen a lot of times. So you have nice little circles on each end. Now you can leave this just the way it is. You don't have to do anything else to it. I like to add other beads to this. So that's up to you, however you want to do it. And I'm going to take my gold wire. And this again is the thinner 24 gauge wire. The higher the number, the thinner it is. I'm going to go ahead and bend that so stuff doesn't come off. And I'm going to start pulling some beads up here. So I'm not putting that mesh or that string on. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this and get about, I'd say 20 to 25 beads on there. And if you want to put different colors, like I said, you certainly can. I'm trying to make this quick and easy. And you can certainly put the smaller beads on there as well. And you can use just about any kind of ribbon that you have. I'm just showing you this sparkly ribbon to show, to show you that it can really decorate your boho bead without you having, to do a whole lot. Just cut a piece of ribbon. You probably have ribbon, like Christmas ribbon or something. And it doesn't take a lot, that's for sure. And depending upon what kind of journal, if you see my Boho Gypsy journals, they are very ornate, so this kind of stuff goes on it. But you can certainly make a very earthy looking one, or whatever kind of ribbon or whatever you want to use. And it doesn't have to be wide that goes around. You can certainly wrap it just like I did with my sari silk. Okay. And I just, I must not have done that well enough to where it's starting to come off. So I need to go ahead and bend that a little bit. So anyway, my entire last month has been absolutely crazy, so that is why I haven't posted a lot. And the month before that was crazy. Oh, my stuff's coming off. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I didn't do that enough. So there we go. So anyway, it has been absolutely nuts lately, and it's kind of nice starting to get back into the rhythm of things. I'm going to try and start posting twice a week on both my channels, which is a total of 4 videos a week, which is a lot. I won't be doing every days for sure. I will definitely post more on this channel than my other channel, but it'll be more this type of thing that doesn't require a ton of editing, more craft with me type things. And I will probably, I don't know, try and get into a regular schedule on this channel of putting out a video every Monday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know which one yet, but twice a week. And that will help me a little bit. I think that's enough. Okay, so this time I'm going to make sure I have enough wire on both ends. So this is the top of where the straw is. I'm going to just take this wire and I'm going to wrap it around so that I have a nice starting point, and I'll cut off the excess. Okay, so I'm just going to take these beads just like we did before, and I am going to take those and just kind of interspace them and the wire around. And if I need to add more beads at this point, I can. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And you can move your beads around a little bit after you put them in there. It's not that easy, but it's not impossible. You definitely can do it. I try and just space them as I go around so that I can make it as tight as I can as I'm doing it. So I'm just dropping beads as I go. So I'm just kind of doing that. And of course this wire's gold, so it's going to, add to the whole wrapping it in gold business. So anyway, just adds to the beads just add to the overall boho look. You definitely can skip this part if you want. I mean, you can take it as far as you want, guys. It's totally up to you. Okay, so now that we've reached the top, okay, I'm going to go around the top of my straw. This would be the last part here, and go pretty tight. And then again, cut that off and cut the other piece off. So I'm going to just use my scissors on this, because this is my scissors that I use just for wire, because it will mess up your scissors, so you want to be careful with that. Okay, got that. And then I'm going to cut this as close as I can. Again, you smush it down so you don't have any wire sticking out, but this is basically it. Okay, so what you've done then is you've just added a little bit of, you know, a little spice to it. Okay, then you want to add something to the bottom, and of course that's anything. And I'm just going to move that back, and there we go. So that was really quick. And that bead, you know, like I said, you can straighten them out as you go. Oop, I did not close that well, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going in a hurry. You guys take your time. You want to, you know, just think of where you're going to put it, and then how long you want it, what colors you want. But look at that. So that was super quick. And that was it, guys. So I want everyone to have a wonderful day or evening or whatever when you see this. And I will hopefully be back later this week. I'm not sure what I'm going to put. Whatever I'm doing likely will be on working on those journals. That's kind of how I'm going to start structuring what I do on this channel. It's going to be based on what I'm doing at the time, what I'm making, because I have so little time otherwise. So that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully I will be back in just 2 or 3 days. So you guys take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.